Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely pumped to get on the court with you today to break down something that, frankly, completely changes the game. Think about this for a second. The literal split second a player catches the basketball dictates the entire offensive possession. In that singular moment, how you hold yourself, where your eyes dart, how your body is positioned, it determines absolutely everything that follows. So today, we're diving deep into the anatomy of basketball's ultimate offensive weapon, the triple threat.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our playbook for today's explainer. First up, Section 1, the ultimate offensive weapon. Then, Section 2, anatomy of the stance. Section 3, execute, shoot, pass, dribble. Section 4, building the habit. And finally, Section 5, the modern NBA context.
Section 1, the ultimate offensive weapon.
Now, if you've been around basketball for any amount of time, you've probably heard the term triple threat thrown around a lot. But we really need to frame this not as some boring old-school basketball cliche, but as a hyper-relevant, dynamic decision-making framework. It's the literal foundation top-tier players use every single time they touch the ball. I want you to visualize it. Put yourself in the game. What happens the exact moment you catch the ball? Well, if you catch it standing straight up, your feet are together, you're holding it loosely at your waist, you are immediately telegraphing your intentions to the defense. You're basically yelling, hey, I'm not ready to shoot, I'm not ready to drive, and the defender, they just get to relax. But if you catch that ball and instantly drop into the correct stance, boom, you make them guess. You completely take away their luxury of relaxing. And that brings us right to the actual definition. The triple threat is an offensive stance taken immediately after catching the ball but before dribbling, where a player is perfectly balanced and loaded to do one of three things: shoot, pass, or dribble. According to USA Basketball, this is a foundational concept. Why? Because when you're locked in this position, all three of those options are genuine simultaneous threats. The defender can't possibly know which of the three you're going to choose, so they have to brace for all of them at the exact same time. It's a nightmare to defend.
Section 2, anatomy of the stance.
So how do we actually build the stance from the ground up? We're going to put on our coaching hats right now and zoom in on the player's physical body. Let's break down the 5 exact micromechanics that make this stance so lethal, because missing even one of these components reduces how dangerous you are on the floor. First, the ball belongs right in your shot pocket. That's at your hip on your dominant hand side, pulled nice and tight to your body. This is your universal launch point. Second, both hands must be on the ball. Dominant hand slightly under it in a shooting position, non-dominant hand on the side for balance. Third, and honestly this is absolutely massive, eyes on the rim. The very moment you catch the ball, you look at the basket. It forces the defender to play you honestly. Fourth, you need a staggered stance with one foot firmly established as your pivot foot to give you balance and mobility. And fifth, an athletic stance. Knees bent, back straight, weight forward on the balls of your feet. You are loaded and ready to explode.
Now let's shift gears and see how this physical stance builds into the psychological game. There's a great quote here: the shooting threat is what makes the other two options possible. This is where the magic really happens, folks. You see, a lot of players learn the physical mechanics, but they don't actually threaten to shoot. It's all for show. But if you adopt a true shoot-first mentality, you completely manipulate the defender. If they genuinely believe you might pull up and shoot in their face, they have to close out on you hard. And when a defender closes out hard, what happens? They surrender their balance, which naturally opens up a driving lane for you to dribble, or it forces a second defender to step up and help, which instantly opens up a passing lane. It's like a giant puzzle, and you hold all the pieces.
Section 3, execute, shoot, pass, dribble.
Okay, so you're physically loaded up, you're psychologically threatening the defense. Now it's time to break out of that static stance. Welcome to the dynamic phase, where you actually make your move. You essentially have 3 equal threats to choose from. Let's talk about transitioning into each one. To shoot, you rise straight up from that shot pocket, driving through your legs and squaring your shoulders at the basket. It's incredibly fast because your hands are literally already in position. To pass, you use your pivot foot. You keep it firmly planted and swing your non-pivot foot to step around a defender, opening up brand new passing angles. And to dribble, you push the ball out straight ahead of you. You don't swing it wide where a defender can just swipe in and steal it. You attack in a straight, aggressive line toward the opening. Now I need to deliver a very strict, authoritative coach's warning right here. Do not, under any circumstances, lift your pivot foot before dribbling. The most common traveling violation happens when a player throws a pump fake, gets the defender airborne, and then gets so excited that they shuffle their pivot foot before the ball actually hits the floor. Lifting or shuffling that pivot foot is an automatic dead ball turnover. It literally kills the possession instantly. Once you establish that pivot foot, it stays glued to the hardwood until your dribble officially begins. No exceptions.
Section 4, Building the Habit.
Knowing the theory and the rules is great, but basketball is a game of reflexes, right? So let's head into the lab for a minute to discuss how players take this mechanical theory and turn it into pure, unthinking muscle memory. Now, what's really interesting here is spotting the biggest rookie mistake. The single most damaging mistake a developing player can make is instantly dribbling the moment they catch the ball. When you do that, you immediately kill 2 of your 3 options. You can no longer shoot cleanly off the catch, and your pivot foot passing lanes, completely gone. The defense knows exactly what's coming. The fix for this is incredibly simple, but it takes real discipline. Practice pausing for 1 full second in the triple threat position on every single catch. Just 1 second. That brief pause preserves all your options and gives your brain that crucial split second to read the defense.
As you build this habit, it's pretty cool to see how your basketball IQ actually evolves. Look at the beginner sequence. It's all about safety and habit building. Catch, pause, look. Makes sense. As players hit the intermediate level, they often get a bit antsy and prefer to initiate off the bounce, so their brain defaults to dribble, shoot, pass. But look at the advanced sequence. Advanced players are setting up their cuts before they even catch the ball, so their reflex is immediate and lethal. Shoot, dribble, pass. Because their shooting threat is so incredibly real, it dictates and governs everything else they do on the floor. So how do you get to that advanced level? You got to put in the reps. Here is a fantastic, highly practical drill called the form check hold. A passer throws a shark chest pass to the wing. The player catches it and instantly locks into the triple threat. And here is the absolute key to the drill. They hold it for 10 to 15 seconds. The coaching cue we use here is catch it and freeze. This allows a coach, or even just yourself looking in a mirror, to inspect the form. Is the ball at the hip? Are the knees actually bent? Are the eyes locked on the rim? You have to build this fundamental body awareness in a static hold before you ever add live action into the mix.
Section 5, the modern NBA context. Now, we all know basketball has evolved. Today's game is faster. It's way more spaced out, heavily reliant on pick and rolls and constant flowing motion. So we have to zoom out and answer a lingering question. Does this old school fundamental still actually matter in today's game? The answer is a resounding yes. But it looks a little different. The triple threat isn't just a rigid system. It is a rapid decision-making framework. If you watch modern elite players, like Nikola Jokic, for example, you might not see them freeze in a textbook 1990 stance for 2 seconds. But make no mistake, they aren't ignoring the concept. They have internalized this exact framework into a beautiful, fluid, one-motion flow. They process shoot, pass, or go so incredibly fast that the visible pause almost entirely disappears, but the underlying decision-making geometry, it remains exactly the same. And it truly is a universal weapon across the entire court, no matter your size. Guards use it out on the perimeter and the three-point line to leverage their deep shooting range against their driving speed. Wings and forwards, they use it at the elbows, where they have a direct driving angle to the basket and a crystal clear view of cutters. And yes, even post players utilize this. When a big man catches the ball with their back to the basket and pivots to face up the defender on the block, guess what? They are essentially in a modified triple threat. The options are the exact same. Shoot the face-up jumper, drive the baseline, or pass out to the open man. All of this leaves us with one final provocative question to think about. Have you practiced the triple threat enough to turn it from a conscious thought into pure, unthinking instinct? Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't to stand out there on the court actively thinking about where your hands are placed. True mastery means reading the defense and reacting instantly. It's the profound difference between knowing what the triple threat is and actually being one. I really hope this explainer has you motivated to grab a basketball, hit the court, and explore this amazing game on a much deeper level. Thanks so much for joining me today.